Okay, now it's right. And they're properly aligned. Just slide the governor shaft in nice and easy. Washers there. Nice and easy. It'll kind of nose out of the gasket there. Do not drive it through the gaskets yet. Get these two lined up. They will just slip in ever so gently. And this one will slip in ever so gently. You just, very nice. And she just slides in. And again, there's a nice dollop of oil on there. And there she just fires right home. Okay. There we go. And yes, you who was yelling at the camera, you're doing it wrong. You got me. And now it's right. Okay. The shoulders are here and here. And the clips will go back on. Yeah, I scratched it a little bit there. It's fine. So, good to go. We'll put the clips in. And I can't do that on camera. They're a pain in the butt. But that'll be that. And we'll move on. Okay. And the clips are in. And she turns oh so nice. Okay. So we're good to go. Okay. That's that. Now we're going to flip her over and do that. And yeah, I'm going to pull out that shaft before I do it, so that we get the main seal in. Okay, here we go. Quick. Damn, a lot of glare, huh? There you go. That's that seal. And that's the O-ring. Alright, and I pulled out the old Lyle bearing and seal driver kit. Found one that fits just right there. That'll drive that guy home. So that's what we're going to do. And of course, these are loose. So I'll pop this off. Put some oil in it. Put that ring in there. Put that one in there. And that's that. Oh, look who's back, huh? Okay, so this kit comes with its new bolts. Okay, these are 5/16 18. Okay, now they tell you very specifically, do not use taps, but do clean these holes, because you can see that sealant on there, and there's sealant on the originals. Okay, so you want to clean these. Okay, if you don't have a thread cleaning kit, okay, and this is the the Craftsman thread cleaning kit. If you don't have one of these, just use a bolt or something. Clean off one of the original bolts. Get all the sealant off of it and stuff like that, and make sure you chase every one of these holes. You can see I've already blocked this. There's no marks, no scars. I've already hit this with the Scotch-Brite. Okay, everything's clean, everything's dry, there's no oil, already been cleaned up with brake clean. So we're just about to the point getting ready to put the gasket and the lower cover on. I'm going to run down each one of these holes, okay, all as far as I can go. I'm going to get them as clean as I can. Then I'm going to take some air and blow them out, okay, just to make sure that these are nice and clean all the way down, okay. And they tell you, do not use a tap, because you'll end up putting metal shavings in there. All you really want to do is get that sealant out of there, okay? You want to get the goop out, okay? And there might be some goop. I think you can see it in some of them. There's like yellow goop. You just want to clean them out, maybe give them a shot of brake clean, and then followed by compressed air blown down into the hole, every hole, just to make sure that they're clean, okay? These things are torque sensitive. These are torque yield bolts. They give you a new set of torque bolts. You do want to follow these instructions, otherwise this thing's going to spring a leak again. So don't mess around with this. Follow their directions in the gasket kit. Alright? Psych. It's just going to bed. We got all the surfaces cleaned up, all the holes cleaned out, and I'm capping it for the night. And just to keep the crap out of it, just lay the cover on there. We'll pull it back off. We'll put the gasket material on, make sure everything is clean, no oil on the gasket surfaces, get it ready to go, and pull that oil pump, put it all together. Of course, oil the seal and the shaft before it actually goes together. Right now, like I said, it's not driven home. Okay, it's off by a bit, just to keep crap out of the case for the night. All right, we're calling it a night. We'll pick it up tomorrow. What we see here is both covers ready to go, crankshaft clean, and oil pumps out of the cover, shafts out of the cover. So now we're going to button it up. All those holes have been cleaned with that thread cleaner. You know, all the seals are in place. And again, I'll show a little trick for getting the shaft in here in a minute. And there's the trick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. Okay, this is just a, you know, muffin plastic. Okay, that seal. Okay, you got to watch this edge of the crank right here so that it doesn't pucker the seal. Okay, when I put the cover on, I'm going to have a little piece of this plastic. It takes a minute to set up, and it makes it so much easier. It's like putting on valve guides. You know, you just a clear sleeve that's thin enough. And so what I'll do is I'll make a bit of this that'll wrap around that, and it'll extend up, you know, an inch or so. I put the cover on because you can't put it on the shaft before you put the cover on. You drop the cover down before you put the seal through, and then this piece of plastic you can just push down in and slip right around the nose of the crank. Okay, because there's an oil. See that space in there before the seal? So you have like a ½ an inch or so there. So you can wrap it right around the shaft and then just push her home. Again, you can pick out with a screwdriver. I don't like to dig at seals with anything sharp. This solves that problem. You just cut it out with a razor. Perfect. That's it. And one last discussion before we get this all buttoned up. You can see here's the governor shaft, okay, and you can see it turns that way to pull up, okay, so it's going to be this way, okay, towards this side of the case, okay, and it's going to ride right here, okay, and basically once we have this flipped over, we're going to want this pushing up. Now this moves, flips around. The idea is that the adjustment of the governor shaft, this needs to be firmly held against the top of the governor, okay? And we'll set that adjustment, okay? There's a procedure to take the governor to the carb and make sure that this is rotated properly, touching it with the throttle set to full throttle. And then we'll lock the governor shaft to the governor bracket once that setting is correct, okay? But if you look at this, you can see that basically we're going to need to make sure that this turns that way, okay? So we're going to turn it clockwise, okay, when it's sitting in the proper position, okay? And that will push down on the governor. We're not going to crank down on the governor, but we're going to make sure it comes in contact with the governor. And while we're holding this against that, we'll take the governor bracket, which will attach to this, and put the carb at full throttle, and then lock the governor shaft in that position. So we'll tighten up the governor bracket to the shaft with this turned all the way to come in contact with the governor, and the governor shaft and carburetor set at maximum throttle. Then we'll lock the bracket to this shaft, and then we can release both of them, and what will happen is the spring will pull this back a little bit. All right, and that's what's going to happen. Okay, and here's our crankcase kit. We're following the instructions. Yes, instructions, and there's the gasket. Okay, and we got over here, we got all of the bolts that go with it. Okay, these are all brand new bolts, and all the holes been cleaned. There's the gaskets and the instructions, which we're gonna follow. Holy crap, following instructions. Okay, and a minute later, we see we have a simple seal installation tool. Just a little piece of plastic, some tape on it. And you see it just slides right over there. That's all we're gonna wanna do. We're gonna slide the cover on, and this is gonna come right down in that gap. All right? You'll see how it goes on. It's gonna be a piece of cake. So we got some oil on the shaft, we got a gasket in place, we got the oil on the mating surfaces. So she's ready to go back together. I'll reach down here and grab the cover. Let's see what we've done. Just taking that sleeve and put it in there, and it's right down, whoops, nice and gentle like, right down to the edge of the lip. Okay, so it won't interfere with the shaft as it's going on. Okay, that shaft's got a good 1/2 inch, so we'll be able to get this to slip onto the shaft nice and easy, and then it'll just drive that lip out. And again, there's oil inside of that too, so she's ready to go back home. Of course, I can't do this with 2 hands, so, or I can't do it one-handed, but there we go. You can see that's around the shaft, and it's not quite on yet. Okay, but now, again, not complicated at all. This is around the shaft, okay, but it's in the space above. So we don't have to worry about rolling the lip or anything. We just give it a firm shove, and she's down. Just like that. Look at that. You don't have to monkey with it at all. Didn't roll, nothing. You just zip right on. Easy peasy. Just like putting on valve stem seals. Okay? So that's an easy way. It's right in your recycle bin. Alright? And that's it. Now it's time to put on the bolts and torque her up. I go ahead and I got the oil pump shaft right here. We can drop it right down in there. Hard to figure out what I'm doing when I'm inside. Here we go. She's right inside the cam. And now I got the pump over here. And we'll drop that in after I bolt up the housing. Alright? That's that. I'll get you back.